Welcome.
Hi everyone, welcome to Tales of Eldura, our one-on-one D&D game with me, Beth Ball, and Jonathan Ball of Grove Guardian Press and D&D Duet. Thank you for rejoining us after a brief hiatus for Jonathan's birthday last week.
Whoop whoop.
Yay!
I got
Um,
older and I got a super sweet birthday gift.
Bonus. I'm really glad you like it. So, we're back this week. We're so happy to be hanging out with you all. Thank you for joining us for our one-on-one D&D game.
Hey, Boom Buddy's in the chat.
Hello. Love when we have friends in the chat.
Yeah. Yes. Hi. Tales of
Hi.
Eldura.
I know, I feel like we've been gone for forever.
I know.
It's
How do we
been
even do
2
this?
weeks. Not sure.
What are we doing here, honey? What's Tales of
Something
Eldura?
about D20s. Tales of Eldura is a one-on-one D&D game set in our homebrew world of Eldura. If you are familiar with our adventure set in Azuria, so the adventures from our website or my novel series Age of Azuria, then Eldura is it's the same world. It's just 5,000 years in Azuria's past, and we're working through some of what happened in between. So we're pre fall of Eldura right now. Of
Yes.
Eldura, post it, and other things.
But before we jump into the game, we start every episode thanking our lovely, wonderful patrons who support all of our video content. Our patrons have some exciting new stuff going on for them as we've just added some fiction tiers to our Patreon. So if you want to check out some of that good stuff, then we encourage you to go to patreon.com/Grove Guardian Press. Additionally, our stream tonight is sponsored by Aurora. Aurora is the prequel novella for the Age of Azuria high fantasy series, which explores a magical world that teeters on the brink between light and darkness. In this exciting action and magic-packed series filled with druids, pirates, werewolves, and more, ancient forces awaken and new heroes rise to the occasion. But this time, who will prevail? Find out in this lovely prequel novella that you can check out by going to bethballbooks.com and clicking join.
bethballbooks.com/join.
That's it.
Or you can scroll to the bottom of the page. Also, we have a new podcast, or relatively new podcast. It's still getting going. It just finished the first season, which is about Aurora, called World of Azuria, which you can find on almost all the major podcast places. And right now, today, actually, we just started season 2, which is working through Great Heroes. And so I would love for you to join me on that.
Oh, yeah. Honey, should I jump in with the Gareth intro?
I think so. Let me stick Aurora back here. Okay. Sorry, I need to get my bookshelf back together. I think we are ready. Are there any other important announcements that we have? We're working on some cool things that we will reveal at a later point in time. So just stay tuned for those. It's going to be so exciting.
I was working on our patrons one-on-one adventure that they get today when I had a little bit of free time, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's kind of a big one, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be diving into the mountain fane.
Ooh. Is this the second or third fane? Can you remind me?
This is the second full bring the sister back fane.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I think she's got a different vibe than the first one. The first one is kind of a little bit more chill, but the high priestess Belladolfi is a little bit more intense.
Love her name.
Yeah, she's cool and scary.
Well, her name is Belladolfi, so the high priestess of the mountain fane. She's probably unbending.
You got to back it up. So, I'm Gareth Stolzdak, heretofore a mild-mannered blacksmith. I've developed an accent since last time we played. Heretofore a mild-mannered blacksmith, plying my trade in the walled city of Respite. Until one day I discovered that my son had been sucked into the negative planes, along with the rest of the holy city in which he resided. Undeterred, and with the assistance of my friends Tessina, a witch, and Evelyn, an enigmatic interplanar agent, we made our way into the negative planes and to the fallen city of Beacon, where we rescued my son Patrick. Upon rescuing him, I was visited with a vision from the Lord of the Forge, Vulcan himself, showing me a way forward, which would result in the redemption of Beacon back onto the surface and the securing of safety and peace for that city and my son, whom I love. On our quest, through various encounters with scary beings and the acquisition of a flying mechanical phoenix, we made our way to the Nagata city of Tilvane, some distance away from Beacon where we started. We're here in order to gain some knowledge, secure some friendships and alliances, and prepare for what comes ahead as we consider moving north into scarier territory.
Dun, dun, dun.
When last we played in the city of Tilvane, we learned some information, did a little shopping, as you do, and went to the opera. So. Oh no, are you frozen? It happened early this time. Well, so. Hey, oh. Roll20's working. Maybe if we refresh Discord, something will happen.
Okay,
Yeah,
give me
then it's
one
like,
second.
now it's like here, but it's not like the star of the show.
You're the star of the show.
Gareth is the star of the show. Gareth,
That's what I'm saying.
with his beloved son Patrick now safe, finds himself thinking about his tragically deceased wife, Melina, who he lost after many years of wedded bliss. Melina having turned Gareth's life around on more than one occasion. And Melina, kind of to keep the memory alive of, if that's a sentence construction that I can use, has influenced Gareth mightily to pursue the path of the Forge and to worship Vulcan, who is kind of the patron of both fire and also craftsmanship and productive work. Think like Moradin blended with Vulcan. Vulcan. Very a Vulcan-inspired deity.
You're so silly. Okay, sorry. Now that we're back,
Yay.
I meant to put us on a different screen, but I don't want to mess with it again. So I might just leave us here in the ancient Nagata city of Tilvane.
Ooh.
If that works for everyone. Just
I
to get
like-
us oriented really fast. You all are in the Travelers District over here at the, sorry, I have your inn name here somewhere. The Restful Respite Inn. And you have an appointment at the All Faiths Cathedral. So Gareth, for the beginning of our session, I'm going to need you to make an athletics check to
Wow.
see how. Okay, sorry. So we left. Let me set it up. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. You left the
Whoa.
opera. You had a gorgeous evening, right? You guys had a really fancy dinner. It was super nice. Magical lighting
We're
everywhere.
very cultured, this traveling band of
Mhm.
miscreants and do-gooders.
You guys got some fancy clothes with poofy sleeves. Basically, you're ready for Ren Fair.
I don't want to be a pirate.
Ren Fair. You can have different kinds of poofy sleeves, maybe poofy shoulders or something. So, you return to the Restful Respite Inn that evening, get a full night's sleep, arise early the next morning, excited and ready to go to the All Faiths Cathedral for your appointment with Quartz. The athletics check is to help as you, for the first time, need to fly over the abyss that rests between the different kind of floating spaces of the city of Sylvain.
So I'm flapping my wings. What's happening with this athletics check?
This is really about how cool you all look on the Phoenix as you go to the cathedral.
And
So you're not in mortal danger or anything. It's more about how well are you fitting in as a flying being
okay. And
in
are
your
we on our
flying vehicle.
Phoenix?
Yes.
Okay.
Or unless you would like to take public transportation, you can take the Phoenix, um, or bless you,
Thank you.
or you can take kind of it's like a ski lift,
Mm-hmm.
but over nothing.
If it's all the same to you, I think that we would probably take the public transportation if that's okay.
Sure, definitely.
I feel like, win in Tilvain, do as the Tilvanians do. Are you familiar with that
Those
expression?
that can't fly. I've not heard it before. Is it common in respite?
Um, yes. Yes, but usually we're talking about
What is it
respite.
referring to?
Oh,
When in
like if
respite
you're
do as their respitans do? Like
Respidians.
what? What would I do? Respite. Oh, excuse me. What would I do?
So if you were in
What do
respite
respidians do that no one else does?
and you wanted to fit in, then you would just look around and look at all the people in
Mhm.
respite and then do as they do. So since I can't fly and I've not seen you sprout wings, I say that we just take the transportation that other flightless Tilvanians are taking, and we'll just kind of blend in. No need to make a
Mm.
big fuss.
All right, that makes sense. Tessina, in your shopping the other day, did pick up some fairy wings. Um, they haven't done these to work yet, but they look really cool before they do.
Yes, when you get them to work, then we'll then you can fly over.
All right.
But
Should I
until
let
then,
Princess Slobbertrumps fly over or just.
I think Gareth is going to examine the edge of the swirling abyss.
Mhm.
Um, what does he see? Is it just like black? Is it like, oh, that's a deep chasm?
Roll a perception check.
Is there stuff flying around in it? Is it swirling miasma? 4. It's soot in my eye.
It's strange because yesterday when you looked at it, you thought you saw more depth, but now as you look into it, you see thick blackness as though looking into a really dark storm cloud. When you looked at it the day before, you thought you saw shapes and shadows, perhaps moving beneath or within, more like the surface of a swamp or something like that.
Frightening.
But this time you don't see that quite so much. And you also see, so where it's just like right on the edge that it looks so scary, but that's what the um, lift between the levels, or the, what do you call those slide things between the levels of Sylvain are like. And you also see plenty of people flying about like there's nothing the matter with these gaps. The large gap across from you between the Alphys Cathedral and the, sorry, let me make sure I get the names right. And the Circle Commons is called the Expanse. Evelyn tells you, and at one point in time, there used to be more things and people there, but they fell away, leaving only the All Faiths Cathedral and the Circle Commons.
Jeez. Okay.
It
Yeah.
doesn't happen often, but it can happen here.
I mean, happening at all is no good. Yep.
Most people who live here fly.
Right. And, like, I'm sure that if I had wings, I'd feel like flying was like walking around, but as I don't.
Hmm.
So we board the trolley, air trolley, and we
Cool.
go to the
Okay,
All
you
Faiths
board an air
Cathedral.
trolley. There are about 20 people on the air trolley with you heading to the All Faiths Cathedral, or some are just kind of going from the Travelers District to the far side of Sylvain. So you ride on the trolley. Anything you're wanting to do before you enter the All Faiths Cathedral?
Can you give me a description of the All Faiths Cathedral? What are we looking at here? Is this like I don't know, 16th century European Gothic, or what are we talking about here?
As you arrive, you go down pretty steep for a ways. The All Faiths Cathedral is at one of the lower levels. Um, if you had better eyesight, you could peer through the ether between these different spaces and see the Protectorate of Mages. But you see one of the largest and most towering cathedrals that you have ever encountered
That's a
in
big
all of
cathedral.
your travels and time as a cleric. The walls are a strange kind of pale, almost pale pink stone, which surprises you. And then the ground is cracked and brown, except for right around the cathedral where there's a lot of kind of silver and gold architecture and shapes. And you see lots of different temples to different deities. Along the left hand side, you see trees and plants, and you guess that that might be the area where more of the nature bound deities are. The front gates to the cathedral are made of either pearl or mithril, perhaps a white marble. The stairs are white marble, you're certain as you look at it, but it's very shiny, very pretty, very impressive. Walking all around the cathedral, you see a variety of priests and priestesses and holy people, as well as who you take to be scholars, as they have large stacks of books and aren't wearing the robes with funny hats. But true to its name, the All Faiths Cathedral seems to be representing a wide variety of faiths. So those who, and you can tell that by kind of the clothes that people are wearing, is in addition to some of the different things that are common to the worshiping of various deities. So you see some people with books with chains, others walking around with smoking vials, and some in robes, some in just regular pants, others in shining armor.
Do I see a mixture of people representing various alignments of different deities? So we got like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this is like a murder god guy, and this is like a healing god guy.
Yeah. You see one person in white robes spattered with your positive blood,
That is
versus someone else who kind of has a light halo.
to make sure that Tessina doesn't accidentally bump into that one.
Thanks, Gareth.
But everybody seems to be getting along just fine.
For the most part, they I pictured almost like a social distancing applied to a D&D space, so everybody gives, those who need to give each other a wide berth, but you also see some unlikely friendships where it's like a an oathbreaker paladin best friends with a, super light aligned paladin kind of walking around. um you see a couple people just like having a toast at I mean, to you it's the morning, but it being the negative planes, the light is always there's always light, but it's always kind of dim. So you imagine that they might be on a slightly different schedule. More people seem to be outside of the cathedral than you see inside of it.
Okay, and kind of gathered around the outside. I know I see all these people, but do I think that the primary places of worship for the various deities is located on the inside, or is it kind of like by deity, or are there stuff? Are there like shrines and things outside?
Evelyn says to you, most of the nature deities have at least a representation outside, but I think we will find who we're looking for on the inside. Is he okay?
Carolina made a nightmare puppy sound, and Buddy is worried about
Oh
her.
no.
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Okay.
So Gareth is going to say, "Very good," and we're gonna walk into the All-Face Cathedral like we know what's going on.
Okay. So as you ascend the white marble stairs, you see a very friendly Nagata female walk outside with a clipboard to greet you. Welcome to All Faiths. How may
Yes,
we help you today?
I am Gareth Stosdak, flame bearer, forge tender of Vulcan, and I believe that we have a
Vulcan?
indeed.
Fascinating. We have not had a Vulcanite in some time.
Well, today's your lucky day, Gareth says and winks at her.
Oh, goodness. I believe I have you on my schedule already. You are to meet with Quartz, are you not?
Indeed.
Wonderful. Well, you can find them just through here. And she gestures to the hall behind her. Walk past the first several rows, the pass through the chaotic section. We like to keep them in the front, you know. Then you'll want to turn right. You'll find a court should be up waiting for you. They're a little absent-minded, so if you need to descend the spiral stair, it's only about 5 levels down.
How helpful. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Enjoy your time at All Faiths.
Gareth will give her a nod, look at his companions, and then lead the way. We look out for anything that looks
So,
like chaos.
as you walk through those front doors, Gareth, roll an Arcana check.
Arcana coming right up. Arcana is gonna be a 4. All I roll is 4s now. That's a new twist.
Okay.
New twist on the adventure.
Surprise!
What would happen if a D&D campaign was only 4s?
If it were D4s, you'd be healing pretty well.
Death
Or maybe
saving
healing
throws
word.
are going to be a bummer.
Just don't die. So, what has happened? I'm going to tell you so you can help me remember, and then Gareth can find out in case he needs to.
Okay.
Passing through the doors of the All Faiths Cathedral, no magic items work and no spells can be cast.
Ugh.
And so any magical armor that you guys are wearing or magical bonuses to weapons aren't working. If you were to suddenly try to cast a spell,
I feel
you'd find
worse.
that it also was not working. You look a little queasy.
I think as Gareth walks in too, because he has every morning casts his uses his forge cleric ability to make some of his armor magical, and so he just kind of like steps through the threshold, and it's just a little bit less glowy. I got a shout out.
You almost catch a chill.
I got a shout out. It's an Eeps from the chat. First time viewer, thanks for streaming. Really like your blog and content. Working on them to play with my wife.
Aww. Yay, that's so good.
Yeah,
That's
welcome.
our favorite.
It's literally why we started doing this a couple years ago. Has it been 2 or 3 years now?
We started in 2019. We started the blog in 2019. We started playing. We've been playing for 3 years. Happy D&D
Aw,
anniversary, honey.
thank you.
You're welcome. So we played right around your birthday, first time in 2018.
Oh yeah.
It was right after I had that really bad car accident.
Yeah, I had the birthday energy and sympathy on my side and convincing you to try it out for the first time.
You did.
Yeah, but thank you. It's an Eeps. We absolutely it's literally why we do what we do. Thank you. It gives us energy to hear that.
Yeah. And welcome to the stream. We're so happy you're here.
Okay, so walking
Ooh,
through.
maybe when we have first time viewers, you could Gareth can roll the next thing with advantage or something, as long as it's not in combat.
Wait, as long as it's not in combat. All right, I'll take whatever I can get. We'll make that a new thing. Yeah, I like that. We'll do a card or something.
Yeah.
Okay. I walk through. I'm a little bit less glowy. My shield is heavier than it was. I don't. Oh.
Hated.
Okay, now make all the D&D happen quickly.
Okay, here we go. Hurry.
We run through the All Faiths
my
Cathedral.
So there's a huge delay. Is that okay?
That's fine. We're gonna make it work.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get it set up. Okay. So you go into the All Faiths Cathedral. Is there anything you're looking for as you walk in?
Yeah, I'm looking to avoid any getting grabbed by any crazy chaotic deities or pulled into any rituals that I don't want to be a part of. And
Okay.
I think that he'd be on the lookout for, I mean, anything that has to do with Alessandra or Asriel.
Mm-hmm.
And just
So
kind of,
you know that because Asriel is a guardian, that she's unlikely to have she could have followers, but she's unlikely to have worshipers.
yeah. So that's, I'm just keeping an eye out for things that I know to look out for and moving as quickly as I can through the chaos portion of the All Faiths Cathedral and looking to make a right where I'm supposed to make a right.
Okay, so walking through the chaos
Don't
portion
touch
of the All
anything.
Faiths Cathedral, Justina pulls her hand back from a exciting looking basket. It's candy, so I really can't have
You don't
it.
want that kind of candy. Or maybe you do.
Justina starts stomp pouting as she walks along. So after several minutes go by, it's the length of 2 city blocks. You walk through all of these different deities. It is pretty empty inside too, and you start to feel this kind of heavy weight from your journey, especially with the lack of magic. And then you see standing ahead of you, thank goodness, an elderly Nagata with pale green skin and pink-tipped fingers, ears, and horns. They're wearing bright pink paint and dark eyeliner. I have been waiting for you. Hello.
Greetings, Master Quartz, I presume. Allow me to introduce.
Yes.
I'm Gareth Storsdak, Forge Keeper and Tender of the Flame, Vulcan. And these are my companions, Tessina from the Witchwood and Evelyn. Don't ask.
So it is true. So Quartz gets really close to your face, and these like kind of long eyelashes almost like touch your skin as they get really close to kind of examining you. I have been wondering when Vulcan would send a champion to restore his temple and domain. Is that you who are here for this?
Well, Vulcan's champion is kinda. Wait, what? Restore?
Restore, yes, you did not see the deadened forge. You do not know of the possessed volcano.
The deadened forge. I understood that there was
Yes,
something, some conflict or some badness that had transpired maybe towards the north. But
yes.
are you saying that that Vulcan's forge has fallen cold?
Yes, the forge in the mountains is cold, and the forge here above on the floor has gone icy and dark. No one has heard from Vulcan directly in 100 years, I would say.
That
It's at least 70 years. It's been some time.
that can't be possible. What do you mean no one? What do you mean no one? No one?
No one here at the All Faiths Cathedral.
You're saying that there's
We.
a forge here.
Yes, would you like to see? Follow me. So they kind of like teeter down faster than you would have thought, but it's still kind of wobbly, teeter down the hall. In the neutral deities portion, you see a couple different fire deities, and there, ahead of you, there is a. We get stuck.
No, no, you're good. You got frozen for just a second, but your audio kept going.
Okay, there ahead of you, you see a dark, and so each of it's almost like market stalls, but deeper. And so a lot of them have like hanging draperies and things. Here, it's a cold black space. And in the distance, you see what should be a roaring forge situated between a couple different fire deities. And then further down, you have a few stone and earth and rock deities. But it's completely old. You even see a layer of dust sitting on the floor, what should be one of the high places of worship of Vulcan.
So seeing this, and talking to Quartz as we go up, I think that he would be kind of asking some more questions. Like, I mean, typically are there not Vulcanites tending this forge? What happened to them? And just kind of like asking some of the
Mm.
questions. And he also is going to be looking out for the people tending the shrines or temple areas on either side to try to just get a sense of what's going on more before we go and address the cold
Okay.
forge.
Okay. There are those like me who tend to all the temples so long as the deities themselves are present. You will notice us in our gray robes. We are the holy scholars. I have served this temple for 300 years and witnessed the fall of many a faith.
So, so a deity has to be like communing in order to keep up their space.
It is not quite so market driven as your phrasing sounds, but when we deity's presence must be felt, their eye must be near, for their space to be alive.
And did the Vulcanites that were here just kind of wander off or get lost, or where did they go?
They are gone.
What does that mean? Is that code for they got murdered? They
Not a
got
code. They were not murdered in the cathedral. In the cathedral, they are safe. But beyond, Alessandra, who overtook the forge, she saw to their undoing.
Alessandra's responsible for assaulting the Vulcanites that were tending this forge.
She is responsible for the death and destruction of much in our world and beyond. Azrael did what she could to save them, but even her efforts were not enough.
Wait, I thought Azrael. You're talking about the Fallen Guardian. She was working in opposition to Alessandra. I thought they were allied.
Yes, of course. It depends upon whom you ask and their own allegiance and knowledge, but one must be cognizant of what Azrael wanted versus what has happened.
Are you saying this happened before the doomed assault from our plane of existence out of Beacon?
No, this was after that, but Azrael did not immediately fall to Alessandra's whims, though even she was only so powerful to resist the goddess for so long.
And what of her
It
fate
is
now?
unclear if she. It is unclear if she is a willing or unwilling puppet now. Our sources indicate that the Guardian does reside to the north, near to the quiet forge of your former lord.
My present lord. Thank you, Master Quartz.
Are you sure?
With grim-faced determination, Gareth begins to address the cold forge, and to himself, out of hearing of everybody else, he'll say, "I'd certainly hope so." And he'll start to try to suss out the presence or lack thereof, or trying to start investigating the forge and seeing if something can't be rekindled.
Okay. Roll a religion check.
Ooh. Is this the one I get to roll with advantage because somebody joined us?
Uh-huh.
That's good. He's also definitely going to say, "By the flame and the forge, Vulcan, hear my call. Make yourself known once more in this place." And he's going to cast guidance. Oh my gosh. 5 if It's an Eeps wasn't here. 11 with the advantage. Plus 4. Hey, there's another 4. With my guidance, so a total of 15 for that check. I'm a cleric that doesn't have proficiency in religion, so that's good.
Gareth, despite your intense concentration on cold forge before you, nothing happens.
Gareth says again to himself, Well, he wouldn't be the Lord of Work if it was easy, would it? And he's going to start whatever he has to do to start like building up the fire and lighting the forge, and if he has to like get coals or embers and resources from the nearby shrines, and he'll like talk to those people. Um,
So there are almost no people inside of here.
okay, can he
You see
borrow?
people.
Can he borrow stuff from the other shrines to like get the forge going?
So quartz won't stop you. Um,
I'm just gonna borrow this for a
what are
second.
you trying to take?
Gareth knows how to start a forge better than I do, so I like fuel, a fire. I know I can't use magic to get this going, but we're gonna. If there are there flammable things and a way to start a fire.
So there are, you see flammable sticks, you see coals, you see wood. There are fires all around you. As you take them over, you will need to make either a nature or religion check.
Okay, either nature or religion. It's all bad. So, Vulcan, hear me, he says as he casts guidance once more. We're gonna go religion. Here we go. 14 plus 2 is 16.
Okay, so keep the embers going. You've stoked up. You have a nice bed of coals laid. You have several different flaming torches. You set them atop the forge altar, fan them, nice and glowing hot. Before a minute passes, grow cold again.
This is a really stubborn fire.
As you run around doing this, you overhear Quartz talking to your companions. Yes, it is curious who your friend has been receiving his powers from. There's almost no way of knowing for certain. Of course, some power has been left over, but I do not know how much or for how long it will last.
What does Evelyn say to that?
Evelyn is kind of feeling dubious about Quartz, and watching you run back and forth. She can't figure out why she can't cast a fire, and so she's a little bit fixated on that. Christina is enraptured by Quartz and has been reacting very dramatically to all of their pronouncements. That's terrible.
My powers come from Vulcan. Where else would they be coming from? As Gareth, I looked at my equipment sheet because I have an equipment sheet. I've got a tinderbox and I've got some clothes. And I've got an alchemy jug out of which I'm going to produce some oil. So we're going to make a whole cocktail of fireness. And he's going to. All right, everybody, stand back. I haven't done this before. This is extreme measures. He's going to drink his potion of fire breathing. Oh, wait. I don't know if that'll work because it's magical. He's going to drink it anyway, and he's going to try to belch out some fire onto the... Wait, I used the alchemy jug, too, to produce oil. Does anything pour out of the alchemy jug?
Do you have to attune to it?
I can find out super easy with D&D Beyond. Wow. Alchemy jug. I do not have to attune to it.
Okay, you can get oil to come out of it. You think? Your potion of fire breath, I'm going to need you to make an Arcana check followed by a nature check.
Arcana is 10. Nature is 3.
Mm-hmm. Your potion of fire breath tastes terrible.
This does not. You would think that it would taste like cinnamon, but it actually just tastes like guano.
A few measly flames. Hi.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything around that I have not looked at or understood, or are there any leftover writings? Are there any glyphs? Are there any symbols in the
Would you
forge?
like to come with me to the Hall of Records?
Sure.
Oh, good. I will lead the way.
Good.
You are quite worried about this particular temple, are you not?
Well,
I would be more worried about the large forge, the volcano.
Master Quartz, I feel like I wouldn't be much of a champion of Vulcan if I couldn't light a forge.
Mm. This forge has been particularly difficult in recent years, ever since Vulcan's defeat. I assumed most of his energies were sent shepherding and collecting those cast into the ether.
You keep referencing this defeat that Vulcan faced. What does that mean? What does it mean for a deity to be defeated?
Alessandra, in her war to take over more of our planes in Pandora's absence, drove Vulcan from the volcano, massacred his forces, and it turned cold. There, she forges weapons of shadow and ice, maintains the volcano.
Alessandra had kicked Vulcan out of his own god forge and is using it to make her own weapons out of shadow and ice? That sounds really cool, but it's also terrible news.
It is a rational course of action, or a passionate course of action for a goddess of negation such as she is.
Gareth is actually really disturbed and upset at that. Like, it's just kind of like sinking in for him that like the deity that he's been following and the deity that he's been feeling closer and closer to, and he feels like he's been growing in his power, just like got kicked out of his house and is now like bumming it on in the plains of negativeness. Like, it just like he's feeling conflicted because he's worried and scared, but he's also like, you know, I hitched my horse to this wagon and this deity just got shooed out of his own whole place. What the heck? He's just like this dealing with a lot. And I think there's a lot of different things kind of playing across his face right now.
Evelyn and Tessina are very worried about you, but they're not really sure how to help.
Okay, so we follow Quartz's.
Can I tell you what we think is the case?
Well,
says as they
it's
lead you into this like huge sweeping library the 5 floors down that the Nagata female at the opening had mentioned.
it's been nothing but good news so far. Lay it on, Master Quartz.
Well, we believe that the true worship of Vulcan cannot resume until the temple is reclaimed from Alessandra. He placed a twisted, fickle being over it for now. Fairy Agini.
I'm sorry, the fairy Agini?
A fairy. Fairy is the genie's name.
Fairy is the genie's name?
Nefairy.
Nefairy. Nefairy,
Nefarious.
the genie. Okay, got it.
Now ruling over the Fortune Temple. And, well, it is good that you have not died in service to your god. It is something to be thankful for, at least.
I was
Here we are in the records.
Master Quartz, you said that it was good that I hadn't died in service to Vulcan.
Yes.
That was going to be my next question. My understanding is that the spirits of those allied with a deity go and are with that deity when they pass. My dearly departed wife was a stout acolyte, champion of, servant to Vulcan when she passed. What are you trying to tell me about? What does that mean? Why did you say that it was good?
It is one of the risks of all the faithful in these, especially in these violent, trying times. But any soul who has fallen since Vulcan's defeat would be cast to either wander until their lord returns, or someone finds their soul and safely guides it elsewhere.
So Gareth looks even more upset. Are you telling me that Melina is at present wandering and has been for 70 or 100 years?
Did she die 70 or 100 years ago?
Well, no. It's more recently than
No to
that.
that part, but yes to the rest. I apologize. It's difficult to keep track of the lifespan of mortals such as yourself as opposed to mortals such as me.
Gareth is not amused.
Roll a history check.
So Gareth is thinking this whole time, when he's thought that Melina was just like in heaven with Vulcan, she's actually just been floating around, lost and screaming. Terrible. Okay, you said history? History check. 15.
Okay, so Gareth knows that the ether, I want to make sure that he understands where Melina is. Gareth knows that the ether is, sorry, I have it written. Okay. A space where the souls of those who have been lost after death and those who have yet to be born wander.
Soul soup.
going for something more intriguing and meaningful than soul soup. But yes, soul soup. And different religions, of course, have different understandings of the ether and how separate or joined it is to, like, those who have souls returning see it as more joined to, like, safe passages from their afterlife to when it's time for a soul to be rebirthed. But the lost souls just kind of wander. They haven't made it to astrally in the afterlife. They're just wandering.
Is it a plane, or is it interplanar, or is it intraplanar?
You know that the ether is actually all around you here in Tilvane. It is the thick gray black clouds between the various spaces. If you were to fall from the edge of the All Faiths Cathedral, you would fall into ether and just falling for I don't know how long. As you ask for clarification from Quartz, they say,
Melina, I'm coming!
I probably shouldn't tell you this, but below the roots of the old city lies crossroads. Network of passages through the ether difficult to traverse. There roam the souls of those who have been lost after death and those yet to be born. But it is an exceedingly difficult journey for mortals to undertake. You will pay for your travel and time spent below in years of life, hoping that you have enough to spare. There are, of course, two alternative paths you might undertake. All are difficult and dangerous.
Clarifying question. The crossroads is under the old city in Tilvane?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The crossroads sound cool as heck. Gosh, okay. I'm Master Quartz. I'm trying to wrap my head around all of this.
It is a lot.
These crossroads that you reference,
Mm.
does one follow them to get to another place? Or does one follow them to hopefully encounter one that is in the ether?
It is a little bit of both. To walk towards nothing is difficult, but to walk through nothing is not impossible.
That sounds really cool, but it's also a little bit confusing. If I walk through the
Yes.
if I walk through the crossroads,
Through the ether.
right?
Crossroads will take you from Tilvane deep into the ether.
And out the other side where we'll emerge.
So you will only be in the ether.
Ah, it's not like a shortcut to the forge.
So the forge is to the north. You can just stay on this plane.
Right, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Do you want to know the two alternative paths?
I do.
Would you like first? Well, not like the most immediate path to the ether is death. Secondly, you might make a deal with the guardian of death and see if she will deliver you hence and bring you back once more.
Does Gareth know who the Guardian of Death is?
Hmm.
Is it Azriel? I can't tell anymore if Azriel's an ally or a foe.
Mm. Probably a little bit of both, but that does not mean you don't have common enemies, just as you may have uh, uncommon enemies. Unshared? I'm not sure.
Well, Tessina, you're well versed in the matters of life and death and the ether. Tessina,
I am Gareth.
if you were to fall, what would happen to you? I know I've pledged my spirit to Vulcan, but if you were to fall, you would just probably immediately explode into cosmic stardust and astrally, right?
Um, uh, if I were to fall into the ether here,
No, I meant fall, like metaphorically, like to die.
I were to die. Well, I'm not sure what would happen. Um, Sometimes, I don't know if Astrid would take over my body for me. I was kind of hoping that you guys could bring me back if something like you could just make me not hurt anymore. Then I wouldn't be so dead. Um, were dead, then I guess I don't know what would happen. I might just wander the Witchwood, a ghost, or join like one of the trees. I think that there is a ghost coven. I need to check. Um, I'm
Evelyn,
just not sure, Gareth.
how would you feel about a parlay with Azriel?
Sort of bargain do you think that she would be willing to make with us?
I'm not sure. I think it desperately depends on what she wants. My understanding is that she was instrumental in bringing low Beacon, and that had um, a large amount to do with the personal vendetta and the betrayal that Azriel felt she suffered.
Based on what Quartz has said, perhaps that's what Alessandra manipulated, but I think working with Israel in some ways depends on if is your wife's soul more important to you than the city of Beacon. If you had to choose,
Wait,
I don't know what she will ask of you.
I don't either. I hope it's not
We
that.
do we do know that she pulled Beacon. He may have been the one to send the assassin after us.
Since we're trying to figure out a way to return it to the surface.
Was my thought. If it was her, yes.
Well, we just. How does one. Gareth doesn't still have those stones that where he was speaking to Azriel through, does he? Didn't something happen to those?
Think something happened to those? I should have kept better track of them. I can go back and check. If anyone in chat knows, a bajillion brownie points. It's been such a long time since we had those. I will say really fast, Evelyn clamps you on the shoulder with her hand. Kind of squeezes. Very sorry about Melina.
Thank you.
Alternative would be restoring the forge and hoping that her soul would in turn be restored.
Uh, the way I'm thinking right now is that's most in line with what we were planning to do, and that's the path that I'm thinking of. confronting this Neferi and restoring Vulcan to his rightful place, and in so doing, restoring those souls pledged to him, including Melina's. That sounds good, right?
Does. So I would guess that someone here has the ability to connect us with Azrael if you wish to speak with her.
You think there's somebody here until Vane has the ability?
Sylvain, I was thinking specifically even in the cathedral, but certainly someone in Sylvain.
Gareth looks over at Master Quartz. Do you know anybody with a line to the Guardian of Death?
Probably. There are lots of death clerics nearby, so you can ask some questions and find out who has been having tea with Azrael, so to speak.
Bully.
Very sorry to have delivered you such bad news today. I've been greatly looking forward to our meeting.
It's some of the worst news I've gotten, and I've gotten lots of bad news in my time.
It is encouraging to me to see you here. You are first that Vulcan has sent, and I hope you will be successful. I miss the heat of the forge on my walks.
I aim to restore it for you, Master Quartz. So Gareth is interested in having a conversation facilitated with Azrael, and he's also interested in if they have, if Master Quartz or the All Faiths Cathedral is willing. Gareth is very much somebody who believes in doing some research, and so he would want to gain whatever understanding he could with like the specifics of how that battle between Alessandra and Vulcan played out, if there's anything that's known. And he's also interested in learning about Neferi and or genies in general.
Okay. I'm thinking Neferi is a genie, that it's possible that will get changed.
I think the genie is cool. Scary.
I was hoping so. That's what I was going for. I just need to double check and make sure that that's the direction that I want to take that character in.
Totally.
Okay, so researching battle between Alessandra and Vulcan, perhaps conversing with Azrael. Okay.
And learning about
Those are the
Neferi.
main things, and finding out about Neferi and genies in general. Okay, cool. I think that we can make all of those happen. So while we leave, I think we might leave Gareth here with all of this heavy news. Is he gonna be okay?
Gareth is not okay. Gareth is upset. God is dead. His wife's soul wanders homeless in the ether. But he'll be okay. We're going to figure it out. That's what we do. Gareth will say to himself, kind of echoing when he was trying to start the forge.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be the god of work if there wasn't work involved. As he sits down in front of a big stack of books or whatever.
Yay!
Just a different kind of work. Just beating the metal.
Mm-hmm. And you and Gareth are so cute. Is that okay?
Yeah, cool. I thought that the thread of, I think the ether sounds cool. I think a path through the ether with the crossroads sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
Asriel's role and the whole thing, and that being more complicated with Alessandra sounds cool. And then, of course, the bombshell that Vulcan is gone, and that throws into question Gareth's wife's soul's rest is certainly interesting and scary thing for Gareth to be working on. So it's all good.
Good. I'm so glad. Thank you for playing with me. Thank you, friends in chat, for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you. All of our video content is brought to you by our lovely, wonderful patrons who get a one-on-one D&D adventure every month and now have fiction rewards incoming, including early access to novels and a monthly short story.
And those special tiers.
Yes. New tier options. But you can check them out and support our work if you enjoy it at patreon.com/GroveGuardianPress. Thank you for DMing for me, honey.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being such an amazing player. I hope it was super fun.
It was fun.
Thank you, friends in chat. Again, do like and subscribe below. And
join us for Tabletop.
We'll catch you guys on Friday.
For 2.
Tabletop for 2. We will not be here next week because you're on spring break and we're taking a week off. Like all the way off. We're staycationing.
Yeah. Do you know what we're talking about for Tabletop for 2 on Friday?
Yes. On Friday, we are talking about best practices for DMPCs and sidekicks.
Ooh. We've messed around with that so much until we found a system that works well.
We have a lot of different ideas.
Yeah.
I think we can say what might work well, different things for people to try too, because what works best for us, I think, is going to be, for us, it's been a little bit dependent on the character, I think, too.
Yeah. And even the campaign, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We got to save it for Friday, though.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful evening.
Thank you.